Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video, I'm going to show you how I embellish my journal covers. So I had a poll on Instagram and I asked if anybody wanted to see my process for creating like a cover montage, and the majority said yes. That's what we're doing here. And I've had so much fun making these. These are like I forget what she calls them, squishy journals that Meghann showed how to make on her channel, and I linked that in I think a previous video, but I'll link it again here so you guys can go check it out. She uses like the mailers from Amazon to make like journal covers. I think that's a great idea because you're upcycling, so you're preventing that from ending up in a landfill somewhere. So I'm always up for like green conscious like ideas for crafting, because I feel like crafting or art, you know, or paints, anything like that, although it does give us a lot of joy, there's a lot of waste created as a side product. And then I've had so much fun making these. I made one for me, and this one I haven't embellished, and I don't think I will. I kind of like this fabric too much. I just made art paper and I'm covering her address. I used the mailer that she sent me Happy Mail on, or Happy Mail in, to make the cover, because I really love like that iridescent pink. But I just started kind of playing around with some paints, but this is all art paper, and I'm thinking that I'll probably make some more like these. The paper is really like nice and thick and can hold a lot of medium, so this one is my personal one, but these are the ones that I've made so far, or made initially, and so today we're gonna work on a cover. So we'll move this one to the side because that one's done. We'll do the cover montage today, and we'll also do the tie, like the tie for it. And I've separated some supplies here. My process for creating like a cover montage consists of about four, maybe 5 steps. The first thing that I look for is like a jumping off point. So for this cover, because it's so colorful and sort of happy to me, I wanted to do like a shaker, and I've gone ahead and I have created that shaker here. And if you don't know how to make a shaker, it's super easy. I use like those binder, the plastic little inserts for a binder, and I just sew all around it. Before I sew the top part, obviously I put my the shaky bits, and then I sew off. So I know that I want this on the cover, but I feel like it also will need like a background maybe. So you want a jumping off point. If, for example, you have no idea, like you're totally starting 100% from scratch, a good jumping off point would be the actual cover pattern and or color. So in this case, if I really go back to why I wanted to make the shaker, it was because of the colors on here. So I know that any color that is represented in this cover is going to go well with this cover. So pinks, blues, greens, orange, and also like very bright colors. The second thing is the actual like motif of it. There's tarot, there's magical stuff, so any like pattern paper with like magical type, stars, moons, tarot cards, crystals, all that kind of stuff would go good here as a starting off point. So that is the first step. What is your jumping off point? Our second thing that we're gonna think about is, what is your background gonna be like? So I know I want a shaker on here, but I don't feel like this is substantial enough for like a full background. So in this case, I have been creating just some simple watercolor art, and then I did some scraping of like neon paints on that thick art paper that I used in my my personal journal that I made. So I think I'm gonna definitely go with this, because I think this would look good against that. Like, just find where you think it would look the best. I kind of really like this purple blue action happening right here. Yeah, so I think this is gonna be my background. Now I don't know if I want to make something that's a bit wider, probably. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this and put it on the cover right around where I want it to end, and then this here, and that way I know more or less where I want to cut. That's a really pretty little piece of scrap there. You can use somewhere else. And in the previous video, I showed a similar way I do this, but on book paper, and I will link it up here so you guys can watch that if you're interested. But yeah, I think this is really cool. I really love the way that pink kind of peeks through the shaker pocket. I feel like the sequins are more visible this way than this way, so I'm going to go ahead and use it this way. Kind of like that, and then I want to measure it against this here. So it looks great. So things that you want to keep in mind when you're trying to create a background is you want to create something that's going to help your focal image kind of pop forward. It should be complementary, but it shouldn't detract from your focal image. So you want something that's going to be in harmony with your cover, but also is going to sort of showcase your focal image. So in this case, I knew I wanted the shaker. I wanted like that interactive element. I think that'll add a lot to the journal. And then this piece of like, I don't know what you would call this, color blocking art, is really in harmony with the color covers, and I think will also kind of help the shaker stand out as well as my focal image. So those are the things you want to keep in mind with your background. So now we're going to move on to our next step, which is going to be your focal image. So with your focal image, I have two things here, two potentials, and I've cut one out already. And so the thing you want to keep in mind with your focal image is this should represent like your overall theme of what the journal is about, right? So in this case, this journal really is just for playing. It's got different kinds of colors and all that, but it's got a lot of like witchy stuff on the inside, you know? And like the tarot is also very witchy, so I wanted something that's going to represent like witchy, like art fun, you know? So I really liked this picture initially, and these are all from a retired digital set that was available in my shop, but I didn't want to cut this down. Secondly, the hue for me is off, because I feel like even though you have like an orange here, this is majority is like cool colors. These are like a cool orange, and the shaker color is cool. So I feel like this sepia on this, the filter that I used on this, is a bit warm for this to work, and it's too wide. So that's why this one wasn't a contender, and instead I chose this one because it's cool. It's not as wide, and if I needed to cut this, it would still work on this cover. So those are all the things that you sort of want to keep in mind when you're choosing a focal image. So right now, I don't know if I want to cut this down because I am still going to think about finishing touches and like any other extras that I would like to add on here. So let's go ahead and move on to the next step, which would be your finishing touches. So with my finishing touches, I feel like there's a lot going on here, so I want to keep it as simple as possible. So I have some more just basic shapes and art that I made with some watercolor. I really love the moon, but I feel like this picture might be a bit too wide to support the moon, but we're gonna go ahead and just cut one out. The other thing I was thinking is like, I think it would be cool if we maybe put a circle somewhere around here, and out of all these circles, it would be between this hot pink and orange because it matches the cover and the background, or this blue and this hot pink. And I'm leaning more towards this one only because I really think it goes really well with the shaker. So I'm gonna go ahead and commit here. If you watched my channel before, you know that that's like a favorite thing of mine, is just commit. Why? Because I think that when you kind of go back and forth too much, one, it takes away from the fun of creating. Two, it creates indecision, and it will create resentment with your project. Like, you won't be happy with the finished part because like you didn't commit 100% to your style choices. Okay, so here we have our cutouts, and I just left the slightest white border around the circle just because it's kind of wonky, so just to like give it some like weight. So we're gonna go ahead and just mock arrange. So I like to mock arrange, meaning I like to put everything more or less in the order that I like to see it before I go ahead and commit to like sewing and like gluing some stuff down. So we have this, which is pretty cute. And then I was thinking that if we cut the moons out and just use this circle, and the circle could be kind of like their moon, or even leave the moons, but like just cut right above it, that will leave room for our shaker. It also will allow us to put this circle. So this is the hard part, guys. I would say that embellishing is probably the hardest part. I don't know if I can get away with both of these. And also the moon kind of obstructs the shaker a little bit. My other concern with the moon is that it could possibly create like a snag point. I'd have to put it all the way in here for it to be sewn onto the cardstock, and then they would cover up some of this picture. So I think I'm going to use this moon in another space somewhere else. Maybe I can just sew it to the inside of one of these pages. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off at the top here, kind of like that. And then we have our little mock moon. I think that's really cute. I don't want to cut off this lady's head though. And kind of like there, and then we can still see the shaker. The only thing about this picture is that it's a bit stark, like the edges for me. So I think that I will use a little bit of ink around. I will use this like hot pink to sort of stain the edges a bit so it's not so stark like that. So that's, I think, a lot better. Yeah, I think we are good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and sew this. Okay, so we have sewn all around, and I think this looks pretty good like this. I don't think this needs anything else, because anything else will take away from the shaker, and that's what I really was excited about on this. So this is gonna be it. I think it looks cool. Before I go ahead and stick this on here and glue it down, I wanted to create a sash. So this is the final embellishment piece. So I went ahead and I pulled a bunch of different colorful fabrics that I'm going to sort of sew together into a sash, and then we're going to sew it onto this cover here. I'm sorry that the sewing is off camera. I just don't have a way of setting that up over by where I sew. It's a very like cramped little space, but just know that I'm going to just piece these all together haphazardly. Zero thoughts go into the sash making, and then I'm going to sew it to the actual cover so that way it doesn't fall off when you open it, and then glue the image, which I will do on camera, over that sash. So let me go ahead and get that done, and then I will be back. Okay, so here is the sash. I just attached it to either side of the spine, and it's like somewhere in the middle. And now we're gonna glue our image on top, but before that I want to glue this sash down because I don't want it to like mistakenly come loose and then pop off your image. I did get some glue on this part, so I'm just gonna wipe it off. We can go ahead and glue down our focal image here and really gauge what center looks like before you plop this down. I think that's good. Right, a little bit this way. Yep, that's good. And also remember that when you start using it, this will warp, so you want to make sure this is extra glued down so it doesn't pop off once you start filling this up with all your memories or art or whatever you want to use your journal for. All right, I think we're done here. So now we're gonna tie our sash. And that is our second embellished journal. Unfortunately, this angle is not wide enough to capture it because it's very tall. It's tall. It's a tall journal. It's over 12 inches. So like 12 and a quarter. And then across it is 7 3/4. So that is our journals finished. And if you made it to the end of this video, I've got a surprise for you. This is a giveaway. So I'm giving away these 2 journals. Now I'm going to give this one away here on YouTube, and this one is going to be on Instagram, and I'm going to post on Instagram like these 2 together. Hopefully they fit in the same frame, or if not, I'll do 2 pictures. But just know that the post announcing this video on Instagram is the giveaway post for the Instagram journal giveaway, YouTube journal giveaway. So you can enter both, but the rules are subscribe, comment here, follow, comment, tag on Instagram. So yeah, I'm gonna leave the giveaway open till next week. I know some people add stuff to playlists before they watch, so I want to make sure everybody has a chance to enter. And that is all, friends. I want to thank you so much for stopping by. I love you so much, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.